Good day, everybody. It's the 1st of September 2023. It's, I don't know, what is it, Friday? I'm not even sure. But I am, obviously in Minsk. And I got out at the Moskovskaya metro stop on the Blue Line. And I've already walked about, I don't know, 15, not 20, 15 minutes, so walking around. As you can see, I'm not too far from the National Library. You see it over there? And of course, that's the big shopping mall, Dana Center. You probably can't read that for sure. It's right next to it. And this place here looks like some kind of a, that's probably some offices up here. And this is, looks like doors. Doors, and there's office furniture. A place over there. I should actually go in there. There's a few things I need. And also right by here is there is a discount shopping store. It's like a grocery store, and there's one great big one, and I don't think it's that old. I think it's a couple months, and in Minsk. And of course the least expensive, if you're like me, you don't want to spend more for certain things than you have to. But there's two of them. One is a Russian store called Svetofor, which also means traffic light, and that's also on their symbol. But the one here in Belarus, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the investor is from, like, I'm trying to think, Lithuania or Latvia, not quite sure, one of the Baltic countries. And of course that's a discount store, and I think they have chains of other different grocery stores as well. But their best one is Groshik, and it's right by here. And I'll go by there and show you at least the outside of the big store, the Mega. It's called Mega Groshik. So, and that's kind of strange, because if this is, the products don't come from the Baltics. They're Belarusian products, vastly, or Russian or whatever. Maybe, I don't think there's anything from the Baltic states, but it's very strange that if they would want to cut it off. Maybe it's some people that just immigrated here or live here that are from the Baltics. So, and I'll be talking a little bit today about the economics between, say, Poland and Belarus. But at first, let's talk about Tucker Carlson in his interview, or what he was at least saying to Viktor Orban. Alex Christoforou went into that a lot better, and then there was another interview with Tucker. I guess I'll be more referring to that other interview. I'm not sure who the interviewer was, but anyway, Tucker was saying some things. I don't think he's quite accurate. He says that there will be a hot war between the United States and Russia within a year. I don't think so. A couple other things. He's just, talking. It's not based on anything real, anything like, he just has a suspicion. But anyway, here is the sign and the entrance to, I'll get a little closer. This is wide angle. Get a little bit closer to this Mega Groshik. I should actually go inside and film something, shouldn't I? Maybe because today the school started, because it's the 1st of September, so it's probably less crowded, but here it is. Groshik Mega. It's not that old. It's maybe like 2-3 months old, maybe. I was in the dentist today, so my mouth is a little bit numb still. Hadn't been to the dentist. I didn't tell them that. I kind of lied on the paper. I said it's been like 4 or 5 years. If I would have told them that it was like, say, 15 years, and then they would have probably looked a lot harder and maybe found something. But I didn't have that much, and I have to go back again. We'll see what that's all about. I kind of don't really even believe it myself. Oh, here's a cafe. I should go there. Looks nice. So anyway, Tucker, what did he talk about? About this war, and I think he was mainly what I got mostly from that is, I mean, like, he just verified what you know, what I know, and what about anybody that makes these video vlogs know, is that the neocons, they really want a war. And obviously, if you look at the Nazis, you know, which is a major part of the Ukrainian government, obviously, even if they don't say they are, they don't have tattoos, they have the same attitude. But even a lot of them, they want war too. Because they're in a war, for one thing, and they want to make it bigger. And what was Alex Christoforo? I should mention that too before I forget it. I didn't write in my notes, but he was talking about this, whatever this attack was on Pskov, this Russian city, way up in the north, right near Estonia, like 30 kilometers away. And there was some thought that it's not from Ukraine, that maybe it was originated from inside of Russia, or that it was from Estonia, or maybe even Latvia. It's not that far from Latvia. However, I think it was yesterday that Zelensky came out. I don't think, maybe Alex Christoforo didn't see that, but he said he was congratulating Ukraine, I believe, on having long-range drones, or I don't know if he said missiles, or if he even specified. So he said 700 kilometers, which is about what it was. From Ukraine to that city is 700 kilometers. So it's very possible. You never know when these people are telling the truth or when they're lying. I guess when their lips are moving, you gotta be suspicious. So I don't know. But I suppose if it was originating from Russia, that he would be bragging about it. You never know. You never know. So, and of course, I think Alex Christoforo was thinking that it would have to have flown over Belarus, but that's not necessarily the case. It could have flown over Poland and Lithuania and even Latvia to get to where its destination is at. But anyway, out of those, like I said, I was going to say this triumvirate, you know, who wants a hot war? I don't know about the neoliberals, but you know that the neo-nasties do, and the neocons do. I don't know about the neoliberals, you know, wanting a hot war. And you look at Ukraine and see a government that will willingly sacrifice the vast majority of their population. To me, that is it's just mind-boggling. And I don't know what the neocons' attitude is towards that, you know, about sacrificing most of these people, they all want a lot of money. It's all done money, 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 money. This is all done for economics anyway. So everything, it all comes down to economics at the end of the day. You know, like, but the thing is, in a certain sense, you can look at them all as the same, the neoliberals, the neocons, and the neo-nasties, because they all seek to dominate, control and dominate, dominate and control. So that's where they're all united in the same cause, domination and control. And of course, as you know, all with the goal of economics. You know, but then of course when they have a little bit of these side things, like I think the neocons, that's all they're in for. And of course they love to use war, you know, like, you know, Joe Biden is considered a neocon, but you see like Lindsey Graham, maybe he's just got a worse how do you say, infliction of that disease, because he's never seen a war he didn't like, as you know. But I don't know, it's an ongoing topic, so it's not even worth talking about it. But when you see like the stance of Lukashenko, I saw an article, and I kind of went and looked for it a little bit, but he just says he doesn't want anything to do with any of these hostilities. He doesn't want Russia or Belarus to be causing any, and he doesn't want to get involved in any kind of hot wars or anything like that. So he's been there for quite a long time, and everybody complains about that. Not everybody, but the West does, and the opposition here. But in all that time, he's never even come close to any kind of a war. No kind of aggression towards any other state. Makes you wonder, well, what does Belarus do to them? Why they get so pissed off? And you'll be searching for a long time. It's just because they exist. So, and they're a stepping stone to Russia. That's their fault. And right now, economically, they're sort of a, what do you call it? Maybe a little bit of a hub for trade between Russia and the West. It's obviously that way with Poland. And I'll say it right now, even though I was gonna talk a little bit more about this in a couple seconds, but a lot of the like parts, if you have even a washing machine or an automobile or something, and if you're in Russia, you own, say, American car, the parts are often sent to Belarus, and then from Belarus they go to Russia. And there's a lot of this kind of trade going on, like you heard about Kaya Kallas and her husband. He's involved in transport between Estonia and Russia. And I'll tell you what, I have faucets, bathroom faucet and my bathtub faucet from Estonia in my apartment, and highly likely what happened with that, because I bought it new in a box, and that wasn't really that long ago. And I'll tell you how that happens. Even though there's these sanctions, this was probably 95% chance it was sent to Russia, and then from Russia it went into Belarus. So much for this hatred of Russia from the husband of the lady that says that everybody should hate anything that has anything to do with Russia. Of course, like I said, that's the nasties, and everybody anyway is like that. You saw Lindsey Graham. Oh, the best thing is you're killing Russians. Very strange. You know, what a topic to be talking about, this hatred of Russia. But anyway, Poland, they feel threatened because of Wagner, and Wagner, as you know, they don't have any heavy weapons anymore. All they have is basically rifles. Emil Kosman even said that in a video. And they're acting like they're scared of Wagner, and you know, as you know, they ordered Wagner to leave Belarus, even though they're not in charge of Belarus. But let's get into that too. There is Lukashenko, when Poland was acting like they were ordering Belarus to expel Wagner. I think it was Lukashenko that came back and said, okay, first you get rid of all the American soldiers out of your country. Over 10,000. And Wagner, I don't know, maybe 6,000 in Belarus. You don't have the entire contingency of Wagner. And I don't even know if they're going to be having Africa operations. I don't know, maybe Wagner's going to be split into two. But anyway, Wagner will be allowed, and they will be staying in Belarus. That's pretty clear, but I don't know if it's going to be having two Wagner organizations, or maybe change a name or something, but they're staying here. But anyway, there's a guy named Mariusz Kamiński, the Polish Minister of Internal Affairs. He was pissed off talking to the Polish government and saying that Belarus is still getting very prosperous. So he's very angry about that, just in spite of the sanctions. And I think it was Lukashenko said that Belarus will continue to see that the Polish can't sleep. He's meaning the government of Poland, because how he means that is there are people, you know, they can't sleep because their neighbor is doing so well, and it causes them to lose sleep. And Lukashenko says it shouldn't be any concern to them. So what? You know, so what if if Belarus is doing well? You know, and Poland, as you know, is the biggest recipient of EU aid. So the EU sends more aid to Poland than any other country. And if you think Poland is doing so great, it's not just because of they're doing so great, it's because they're getting a lot of money sent to them. And I'm wondering what's going to happen now when Germany's running out of money, which is the big driver, and some of these other countries there in the European Union. But then now, as you know, what was it, the day after Nord Stream pipelines were blown up, they inaugurated a new pipeline, an undersea pipeline from Norway to Poland. So that should be helping them very, very much. And Poland was very, very happy about Nord Stream being blown up, because then now they have a pipeline. But of course, Norwegian gas is a lot more expensive than Russian gas. I don't know what these people are doing. You have to figure all this stuff out yourself. You need to be a great economist. You need to be an insider to find out what the real numbers are. And actually, this guy, what's his name? This Mariusz Kamiński, he was saying that Belarus needs to send away Wagner and send away the migrants at their own expense, because they're under threat, they feel, of migrants going across the border, which they're not at the moment because they're blocked. Poland blocks them, and Poland actually shoots and kills migrants that goes into Poland from Belarus. Even if they don't admit that, there's just way too much evidence of that. Apparently, a lot of these guards that have defected to Belarus, these are Polish border guards, and there's a couple of them. They've defected into Belarus, and even on a satellite map, they show the Belarusian government where mass graves are of migrants, where they line them up and shoot them. So, according to these guards. So, of course, Poland denies all this stuff, but everybody knows, and there's even some subscribers, some of you subscribers that wrote to me on, what was it, from what country? Anyway, how poorly a lot of people, when the military operation started in Ukraine, some people were fleeing, going into Poland, and they were treated very, very badly. And I've heard that from other people too. And then I hear other stories from some of the opposition type people over here, or at least opposition sympathetic people here in Belarus. Oh, they are so great, they're so nice, everything is so beautiful in Poland. I don't know. I haven't been to Poland for quite some time, but people that I know very well said it's not quite so nice over there. And they're very brutal, the police. So, but I'll talk more about Poland. Okay. Anyway, but I think one thing Lukashenko was saying, that if Poland demands that Belarus send away these migrants, and of course there is no ocean or nothing, and these people, they came up through some of them came by airplane, by the way, but Lukashenko says, well, maybe Germany should demand Italy to dump all those migrants back into the Mediterranean Sea. So, because they want to go to Germany, and just like these migrants want to go to Germany too. They haven't really got the memo yet that Germany is not going to be quite the country that it was before, and it's going to get worse. So, I think they're going on gas fumes right now. But anyway, they're still buying a lot of gas from Russia, buying a lot of oil from Russia. Yeah, very, very fascinating. I think the liquid natural gas, how much, the sales are up. Russia, I believe, they're out to make the biggest year ever in liquid natural gas to Europe. Bigger sales than they did even before COVID times. So much for banning this gas. And then Kaja Kallas' husband. So there's still a lot of trade, And Poland is threatening now to cut the border, and I believe some other countries have already done an assessment on that, and they found out they lose much more than Belarus does. So they don't want to block the borders. And it's also another thing I should mention. I think that if you're a Belarusian and you want to go to Poland or to Latvia or Lithuania or maybe Estonia, you need like a visa. But, well, of course, not Estonia. No, Estonia doesn't have a border with Belarus. I mean, Latvia and Lithuania. But if they want to come to Belarus, there is no visa requirement. They can drive right into Belarus, go shopping, and then go back home. And that's a big bonus for a lot of those people, because the prices are a lot higher over there in the EU than they are in Belarus. So that's just something I throw out there. And what else do I have here? Yeah, mostly just about these economic consequences for them. It's going to be a lot worse. Yeah, and I guess the trade is flourishing. That's what they, what was that? This was a publication, I guess, from Poland, and they were saying trade between Belarus and Poland is flourishing, and it's at a 3-year high. And some of the items that is shipped from Belarus that they're in dire need of in Poland, obviously, because of the fuel costs, the heating costs. Like last year, Belarus sends a lot of wood, so it's timber, fuel, obviously liquid natural gas, and fertilizer, Belarusian fertilizer, fuel, and timber are the biggest ones. And Belarus gets in return like parts, appliances, and Poland also gets vegetable oil. Remember, you couldn't get vegetable oil over in the West after the special military operation started. And of course they still get grains, even though, you know, they have Polish farmers that have a lot of grain and too much coming in from Ukraine anyway, but quality of grains, I think, from Belarus are just higher, obviously higher than what they have been getting from Ukraine. Ukraine is ridden with pesticides and rot, and it's for some reason low quality, and I don't even know why, because it's a very high potential country for doing grains even. Maybe they're even radioactive. Like I said, Belarus has a radioactive area, but it's a huge part of it is closed off, and they don't do agriculture there. They do, they do agriculture there, but I think it's mostly for just certain types of agriculture, and I don't know if it's for just for experimental purposes or not. Oh, take a look at this. I'll tell you, over here, I just walked past, there was electric vehicles. Yes, electric vehicles. And I was thinking, it's a Tesla place. I think there was a sign that said Tesla, and maybe, I don't know if Tesla is dealing anymore, but I just from seeing right now, Tesla. What's this one next to it? Oh, BMW. I don't know. I don't know if that's electric vehicles. But like I said, you know, if you watch these videos, you see a lot of Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, Teslas, all this sort of stuff. And then they're telling you the country is very poor. Guess again. But I'll tell you what, we don't have really that many natural resources here in Belarus. And I mentioned this, I've mentioned this in 2 videos, I'll say it again. Belarus does very well because of this and this. They don't really have the resources, they don't have, well, now they do have oil. Let's get into that too. I'll talk about that any second now. We just talked about vegetable oil, and I'll just end this. First, let me make closure on this thing about Poland. That's what I was talking about, Poland here. They have, the leader, Lukashenko, is saying that the reason why they're talking tough is because they have an election coming up here. So, you know, ordering Wagner to leave, ordering Lukashenko to put these migrants onto airplanes and send them back where they came from and things like that, you know. And it's not, obviously that party is going to win because they control, what was it, what did Stalin say? It doesn't count how you vote, but it's who counts the vote that counts. I believe that's pretty much what he said, you know. So, what I was saying, no real natural resources. Well, that changed a little bit. They just discovered oil in Belarus. Although it is deep, it is over 4,000 meters deep, and it's a little bit hard to extract. However, it's a very high quality. It's in the Gomel region, it's towards the south. And one thing that made me think of, you know, Gomel is starting to get close to Ukraine, and it's, well, Russia's on the other side. You don't have to worry about Russia. But I think it's Bryansk region, of course, when you see a lot of, Ukraine is attacking them a lot. That's very close to Belarus on the southeastern side. And Gomel is down there too, but I'm not quite sure where this oil is located. However, if you remember the Gulf War, Desert Storm and all that, and what set that all off, I'm just going to bring this up now because when I saw this thing about oil and saying that it's in the Gomel region, you know, not knowing where in the Gomel region, I thought I would mention this, that back in those days, before the Gulf War started, this whole thing is about oil. Kuwait has oil, Iraq has oil, but what set the war off, the main thing that set this war off was, you had General Schwarzkopf. Even he was there long before the war started. I don't know about long before, 6 months, a year before this war started between, you know, the Gulf War. And what they did, there was a new technology called slant oil drilling at that time. It was fairly new at that time. And what the United States got Kuwait to do is to set up oil wells along the border of Iraq into this, I think it was a fairly new oil field, but very, very rich. Anyway, they set up slant oil wells. So there wasn't really much or any oil in Kuwait in that region. So they put up these big oil wells, and they used slant oil drilling that were drilling quite a ways into Iraq and sucking Iraq's oil, for the benefit of Kuwait. And I guess Kuwait was emboldened by the United States to do this. As I said, Schwarzkopf was involved with this. And Saddam Hussein didn't like this. And that was one of the main impetuses for starting this war, the Desert Storm War. So that's just something I thought I would throw in there. And one other little thing. Let's see. Some little tidbits right here. Lukashenko has invited Poland to the CSTO military exercises. That's this collective security treaty organization, which is a lot of former Soviet republics, and they're going to have exercises in Belarus. And Lukashenko invited Poland to join in. And I think on this was announced on the Belta, which is a information line for Belarus. It's in writing. They don't have videos, but they have stories. And I guess the antidote to that is we'll wait and see what happens. What does Poland say? So that's just interesting. I don't know. It's not a clown world, but I don't do the clown world things. But I maybe throw in a few facts at the end here. Another thing is, I guess in about 2 weeks, the mid-September, since we have September here now, Ukraine is supposed to start getting their Abrams tanks from the United States. Right now they're undergoing repair in Germany, and they're supposed to be finished very soon. And they're supposed to arrive, like I say, on the 10th, or the 15th or so, 15th of September. But you have to keep in mind, I believe these are Abrams 1s. They're not the Abrams 2. So it's maybe not the best model. But of course they've made modifications so to make them better than your typical Abrams 1. And we'll see. They're probably going to be burning too. But I don't know. And what is well, that was another thing I just remembered. Zelensky, I guess he just put out yesterday that I think he's going to need an additional 160 F-16s, to make any kind of a difference. So, but at the beginning of the war they had more than that. I think they had nearly 500 aircraft, and they still got defeated by Russia. And Russia didn't commit so many aircraft at that time. Now they're committing maybe a little bit more, but I don't think they're using that much aircraft. They're using more drones, as you notice, and some missile Kinzhals and Iskander and all these other sorts of nice missiles to destroy what they're destroying. But for right now, that's all I have. And I'm going to go inside the store. I don't think I'm going to be filming. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Anyway, maybe I'll get a couple things in there, but just like I said, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Maybe sooner than you think. Maybe tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye-bye.